pam, pam, listo. Hola chicos, bienvenidos a otro capítulo más, capítulo 16. Como siempre, continuamos este magnífico juego. Vale, hemos viajado hasta aquí para no cortar el rollo, ya sabéis. Y la gente, vamos a continuar, ¿vale? Y vamos a ver con Master... Turney, no sé cómo que se llame. Vale, vale, mira, vale, está ahí dentro. Es que me acuerdo de este sitio, vale. Ah, todavía. No me acuerdo los nombres ya.
Greetings. What business have you?
No, nada, por nada. Yo sé,
Master Faithful,
ya lo
I
sé,
need to
descubierto.
speak with you. I found out something about the counterfeit coin.
Did you really? Do tell.
Close to Rovna, I came across a wagon that was transporting the false coins. Unfortunately, I came too late. The carter and his men were dead.
Damn it, blast. Do you know who did it?
Yes, a certain knight turned up there. Turned out he was also after the forgers.
Well, that is indeed unexpected. Tell me, what did he say?
He told me that the fake money was being taken to Passau in exchange for gold coins. Then that real money was being brought back to the Bohemian lands.
That would explain why those fakes bear the Passau counter mark.
His master is allied with the Passau alderman, and they told him to sort it all out.
I wonder who could be behind it all.
His name is Ulrich. He looked like a knight, but he refused to show his master's colours.
Ulrich, you say? Could be anyone. Can you describe him?
An older man with a moustache. But for all his grey hairs, he seemed pretty tough to me.
Doesn't match anyone I've heard of. But then we don't even know if Ulrich is his real name.
Puede ser, bueno, me entregaron los
He gave me
documentos.
these documents to show you. He seemed to think they prove he was telling the truth. They're the records of the interrogations in Passau, and some other things he said you'd understand better than him.
Let me see. We, the aldermen of the city of Passau. Interrogation held this day. Put to pen by the questor. The place of origin is a monastery in the land of Bohemia. Which certainly confirms my suspicion that something underhand is going on in Sasso. Coin assay report. Copper core coated with amalgam. Ah, but this is interesting. Here's an outline description of how the forgeries are made. I'll have to study it more closely. We command Herr Ulrich to investigate and let no man stand in his way. This looks like the original safe conduct. It has the seal of the Passau alderman, but they certainly didn't pen this.
How do you know?
I recognize the hand. It's a Clement of Caplitz, the high scribe of the Rosenbergs.
¿Qué
So what
significa?
does all this mean?
Well, it certainly explains why your knight is so mysterious. Anyway, we should be careful. And we shall begin our investigation. The documents show they use silver amalgam for coating copper fakes. That's a lead we can follow.
What?
Silver amalgam. It's produced from quicksilver and silver.
Well, that doesn't sound like something just anyone can get hold of.
You're quite right. You will go to Sasso at once. Look around the forges in the city. Someone must be working copper for them. I, meanwhile, will take counsel with Sir Radzik and then follow after you.
Where shall we meet?
At the inn on Sasso Market Square.
Vale,
Good luck to you.
¿quién trabaja? Vale. Esta saga. Descubrir dónde consigue el mercurio de los falsificadores y hablar con Uri. Vale. Pues vamos. No hay mucha cosa que hacer aquí. Vámonos. Vale. Bueno. Ya sé cómo va esto, ¿verdad? Vale, misiones. Vale, aquí. Vale, primero vas a hablar con Juli. Vamos por allá. No se viajar, qué cañazo. Vas a hablar con Uri. Si habéis visto el capítulo anterior, lo he encontrado mientras estaba caminando. O sea, lo he encontrado milagro. Eso es un milagro. O sea, pura suerte ha sido. Pero pura suerte. Y claro, y tuve tiempo de verlo antes de que esconder y aparecer. Vale. Y ya lo encontraron. Vale, estamos en el Esco. Vale, falta medio camino. La mitad, por lo menos. Que no me embosque, por favor. Ya he tenido suficiente, de problemas. Problemas y de todo, de general. Vale, estamos seguros. Lo curioso es que cuando estás en caballo, más lento está, Cuando estás andando es igual, pero y el caballo también es lento. Curioso. No sé, a lo mejor cuando llevas un transporte, bueno, un caballo que corre mucho y puede viajar rápidamente. Y claro, me parece absurdo que camines así esperando medio minuto, ¿vale? Medio minuto. O sea, medio minuto. Vale. Bueno, vamos a hablar con Gish. No sé si será un nombre bueno, no sé si es bueno o malo, pero bueno, ya hemos enfrentado y ya. Vamos, vamos a verlo, no. Porque él también sigue la misma pista. Me recadé. Ya está aquí. Ya estás. Ojo. Maestro de fresco. Vamos a ver.
So, what did Master Pfeiffer have to say?
I consulted him, and we definitely have a starting point.
Tell me more.
Master Pfeiffer found out they need copper sheets for the core of the coins, and quicksilver for the
Aleación.
the other part?
I see. They have such materials at the monastery.
Exactly. That's why I'm interested in the local forges.
Yes, that is good. Yesterday, I heard people from the Clefman's yard by the monastery complaining. They said they could not sleep at night because the blacksmith works all the time till dawn.
I see. That's certainly worth asking about. Have you heard anything else?
You said they use quicksilver. There is a painter lodging here who is painting the church in Ujits. I heard him complain also. He said that he went to the monastery for quicksilver and it was all gone.
Well, that's something to follow up as well. Thanks.
Habla con el maestro de pinto de fresco. Lo tengo al lado. Venga.
Here, enjoy it.
I'm at your service, Sir Knight.
Mercurio.
I hear you've had some problems with the supply of quicksilver.
Problems? I should say so. For the third time this month they've told me they've none. There's no quicksilver to be had, they said.
And who exactly are you talking about? Who's holding back the goods on you?
The monastery overseer, or his assistant, more like.
So what did the overseer have to say to you?
Nothing. Apparently he doesn't deal with such trifles. Leaves it all to his assistant, the pompous git.
¿Quién retiene?
Surely such valuable material can't just vanish. Where can it be?
I wish I knew. Every time I ask for the red paint, there's a different reason why they haven't got the quicksilver to mix it. Once they said the goods never arrived, and another time that the wagon carrying it was ambushed. Then it went astray somewhere.
And you think they're lying?
Jesus, what do I know? But it seems pretty strange to me. 3 times in a row the same thing goes missing. There's bad luck and then there's something else.
¿Para qué necesitáis mercurio?
I don't. They do. To mix up the red pigment for me.
Ah, pigmento rojo.
Like the church in Ujit. Can you imagine how stupid those biblical scenes look without red?
Not really.
Then be glad you can. My eyes hurt just to imagine it.
Gracias, esto es
That's all I
todo.
need to know for now.
Ah. But wouldn't you care to buy something before you go? Or play a game? I really need some money. I've been waiting here a while and my stay's getting expensive.
¿Qué tienes a la
Why
venta?
not? Show me what you have to offer.
¿Qué tienes? Mapa de tesoro. Vale, dame vino. Dame esto también y esto. ¿Qué vendes? Vale. No sé si esta niña es algo de utilidad, no sé. Ah, ¿con quién? Continúa en la oficina, tío. Igual que entrar con cobre, vale. Se va a poner ahí. Mira, ahí estás, aquí. Ven. Todo mola la música. Ah, ya se ha cortado, justo cuando ha hablado. Madre mía. Madre mía, vale. No sé si aguardar la partida, no me he enterado. Vale. Vas a para abajo. Con permiso, ¿puedo entrar? Bueno, mejor no. Mejor no. Vale, aquí no podemos pasar. Está saltadísimo. Pero soy para arriba. Ahí, ¿voy a pasar? Sí. Diego. Vale. Hola.
I'm honored that a knight such as you takes an interest in me.
Mercurio.
I'm looking for some quicksilver. Would you have any on hand?
Talk to my assistant. He deals with such trivial matters.
Fine, thank you.
Farewell.
¿Quién? ¿Qué menor? Hola. Esto voy a leerlos también. Esto. ¿Y a quién busco? ¿Eh? Vale, un momentito. Vamos a leer. Vale, gana lectura, ¿ves? Vale. Lo siento, pero vamos a pasar esto porque son súper largos y no quiero perder directo, ¿vale? Lo siento, lo sentimos, chicos. Es muy interesante ya, pero lo siento, pero yo quiero ganar, ya, quiero ganar tiempo. Vale. Estoy pasando página para pasar. Vale, esto también cuenta, ¿eh? Vale, estoy... Vale, monasterio... Vale. Ya quiero uno. ¿Este? ¿Qué nivel estoy? Nivel 6, vale. Vale. Nada más, ¿no? Ya está. A ver. Sí, ya está, vale. Bueno, te vas a ver otra vez, no me he enterado un poco.
I'm looking for some quicksilver.
Talk to my assistant. He deals with such.
Fine, thank you.
¿Tu ayudante? ¿Y dónde está?
Lord, watch over.
No lo veo en tu ayudante. ¿Qué ayudante? Vas a intentarlo. Ahí. No, 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 no. Uf. 50. No sé. Vale, 40, vale. Muy difícil. ¿Puedo usar la lanza? No. Es complicado todavía, vale. ¿Eres tú? No, tú sí eres peor, vale. Pues... ¿Este está? Pero tiene que estar aquí. Mierda. Te voy a mirar un poquito, ¿eh? No sé qué ayudante me está hablando. No sé qué ayudante me está hablando. ¿Y ahí? ¿Qué ayudante? Macho, vamos a ver, ¿qué ayudante? Yo no veo ni un ayudante. Espera, espera, espera. Ah, ¿eres tú? Dime que sí. El modo portero. De Vinta.
Can I take a look inside the monastery?
What's got into you, boy? The grounds inside the monastery belong to the monks of the Order of Saint Benedict. No others shall pass.
No puedo entrar, vale.
Farewell.
Pues ese no es. ¿Puedo entrar? ¿No puedo pasar? ¿No puedo entrar? Creo que no. ¿Y dónde está el otro ayudante? Aquí tampoco no puedo entrar. ¿Y de aquí? Aquí sí. ¿Qué hay aquí? No hay mucho por aquí, ¿no? No. No, 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 no. O tengo que hacer algo aquí. Leer. Vale. También esto cuenta de... Pero... Bueno, tú... No. ¿Dónde coño está tu ayudante? ¿De quién es el ayudante? ¿De quién es? No lo conozco. ¿Tú eres tú? No, tú eres el mismo, hermano portero. ¿Tú? Guardia, no. No, entonces ¿quién será? Asistente, asistente.
Good day to you.
Do
Vale,
you have any
joder.
quicksilver in stock?
Who's asking?
I'm here on behalf of the master fresco painter. He said you sent him away empty-handed 3 times already.
Then I don't have any.
That sounds almost as if you don't want to sell it to me.
It's not that I don't want to. It's that I can't.
I see. You can't because you don't have any. And you don't have any because you're selling it out the back door, eh?
Suppose I was. I don't see what business it is of yours.
What if I told you I'm the emissary of the royal hetman Radzig Kobyla, and you've got yourself mixed up with a counterfeiting gang?
Counterfeiters? Meaning what?
Somewhere around here is a counterfeiter's workshop. They need the quicksilver to make fake groschen.
Jesus. But I didn't know anything about any counterfeiting.
For your sake, I hope that's true. Now tell me what's been going on.
I swear, I wouldn't normally do anything like that.
Get to the point.
They came for me at noon. Directly to the office. The overseer was somewhere on his rounds. Some night, it was. Without a crest. Armed. He called himself Sir Jezek, and he had a lackey with him called Rapota. A scruffy fellow with a yellow cape. Always whistling he was. They told me they wanted all the quicksilver we order for the monastery. Of course, I told him that wouldn't be possible.
And then what? Did they threaten you?
Not at first. They tried to bribe me, and when I refused, they started threatening.
What did they threaten you with?
They said they know people in the monastery. That they'd have me thrown out and beaten for stealing.
And you had been stealing? I mean, before then.
You know how it is. I work my fingers to the bone and they pay me a pittance.
So they knew about you?
Yes, they knew my name, everything.
How did you hand it over to them?
I take it up the hill behind the monastery, yeah. There's a big tree there with a small chapel underneath. Sometimes Rapota is there waiting for me. If not, I leave it there.
Very well.
O sea, me estás hablando de se integran los materiales.
God be with you.
Vale. Hay un árbol, dicho. Mostazo. Vale. Vamos a ir a C. Caballo, me encanta. Genial. Me encanta cuando te teletransportas. Vale, controlamos. Va bastante todavía. Queda bastante. Mucho. Vale. Está volando la misión, Pero va a ser largas, Vamos. Vale. Ojo, tiene pinta esta, Así de campamento.
¡Mara! ¡Mara! ¡Mara!
¿Cómo? ¿Cómo? Estos sí son malos. ¡Anda! ¿Qué ha pasado? Se ha subido un puto árbol, loco. Mira que son bandidos, o sea, no hay razón para razonar con ellos. Hay gente mejora, ojo. Fruta, pan. Voy a coger comida. ¿Estás cabrón? ¿What? ¿Dónde ha ido? ¿Sí, el árbol? O sea, ¿qué cojones? O sea, a escalar el puto árbol, la hostia. Vale. Ya está. Oh, no, mejor voy a... Viaje rápido. Bueno, es un poco vago, pero bueno. La cosa es así. Vale. ¿Y reputación mal? ¿Por qué? Pero si son bandidos, ¿qué razón tengo que hablar con ellos? Venga ya. Desayunamos, ya me va a empezar a atacarme. O sea, ¿qué manera que el bandito a saludarme me dice que estoy haciendo mal por la reputación? Me la suda la reputación. Yo dirijo cuando sea y donde sea. Vale. Pues esto creo que gana un punto en la vida. Creo, no sé, no lo he visto bien. Que gana un punto, ah sí. Vale, nivel principal, vale, perfecto. A ver. Lo que no me gusta es que pierdes uno, ¿no? Negativo y positivo, eso no me gusta. Vale, esto es lo que decía, esto es importante también. Vamos, espérate. Este oscuro, no me... Ay, bueno, esta para el final. Yo que está bien así. Entonces voy a poner... No sé si hay más, ¿no? Así hay más. Así que mira. Era el local. Tienes los fillos. Estoy dibujando. Para avanzar diálogos. ¿Y contemplativo? ¿Algo más? Nada más. Voy a hacer primeros auxilios. ¿Vale? Para el diálogo, eso es importante. Para tener éxito. Vale, vamos a hablar con el maestro. ¿Dónde está? Dentro, ¿no? ¿Eres tú? Sí, todavía fecha. Cuéntame. Ah, si estás aquí.
What troubles you?
You look different, Master.
So as to fit in. I don't want it known that I'm in town.
Ah, vale. Entiendo. Lo entiendo.
So what have you found out so far?
Pues muchas cosas. Muy poco.
I found out where they get their quicksilver from. You were right, it was the monastery.
It was the only logical explanation.
It changed hands on the hill behind the monastery.
Have you been there to have a look around?
I have. I didn't find anything interesting.
And have you found out who's behind it?
Someone called Rapata.
Not much, but it's a start. At least it's not a common name. Listen, Henry, I had another thought on the way here. Those counterfeiters have to have a punch die to make the fake coins.
Yes, of course.
That's sophisticated work. There's a man I know who works at the monastery yard. Master engraver Jerome of Silesia.
You don't suppose that he's...
No, not that, God forbid. I know him well. He'd never do anything like that. But he runs an engraving workshop, so he might have heard something.
Very well, I'll ask him.
But ask with tact. I don't want him getting offended. And I prefer you not to mention me at all.
I'll try to think of something. That's all.
Vale, que no hable, que no sea de... Vale.
Good luck to you.
Vale, gracias y buena suerte. Vale, partido guardada. Y como siempre conseguimos. Vale. Ha sido fácil. Pero lo que viene va a ser complicado, seguro. Examinar el taller de Gavaro. ¿Dónde? A ver, que me pegaran ahí. ¿Dónde? ¿Aquí? Sí, a ver. Voy a agarrarme porque es que se me ensucia bastante el atuendo. Yo no sé qué pasa, el atuendo. Vale, joder, macho. Vale, ahora. Vale, vamos. Apartaos. Cuidado. Cuidado, señor. Cuidado, te digo. Cuidado, cuidado. Uy. Hay que dar el terreno si se puede. Ya, bueno, lo dejamos para... Mira, cuidado. Este personaje no sabe nadar. Joder. Él sabe por qué no sabe nadar, pero bueno. No sé si alguno sabe nadar, no estoy muy seguro. ¿Ves nadar aquí? Pues. Si no sabe nadar, pero el caballo sabe nadar, ¿no? No sé, a ver, el caballo tiene mucha experiencia para estar en el agua. Qué raro que el caballo no sabe nadar también. Qué curioso. Somos dos hermanos. Vale, pues vamos. ¿Qué ha pasado? ¿Qué haces? ¿Qué haces? ¿Hola? Que se mete los arbustos. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Se han enamorado? Vale. Vale, cuidado. ¿Habéis visto eso? Me ha atravesado por toda la cabeza. Vale, me ha llegado. Vale, es aquí. No sé si tengo permiso, vamos a ver. Con permiso. Sí, vale. Seguro. ¿Qué bañé? Ah, no. Ahí está el fondo.
Good day to you.
Igualmente.
How goes the work, Master?
Getting there. You need something, my boy?
What are you doing here, anyway?
You're in an engraver's shop, my boy. We're engraving, of course.
Yeah, but engraving what? And what's it used for?
Oh, we engrave wood and stone as well as metal. Here in the monastery, it's mostly about decoration.
You've got quite a large workshop, Master. You don't do all the work alone, surely?
I'm usually here with my apprentice, Florian. Of course, by simple observation, you'll note that this is not currently the case, and I'm here alone. Which means that either I'm a liar or something out of the ordinary has occurred.
I see. I think. So what's happened to Florian?
He shares the fate of the pharaohs for today. The fifth scourge of Egypt did smite him, the plague. Or so his message advised me.
Jesus Christ, the plague?
Murió, no jodas.
I'm quite certain the plague from which Florian is suffering wasn't a judgment from on high. Or if it was a judgment on excessive drinking. I'm told such an ailment can be of truly biblical proportions.
What's he like, your apprentice, Florian?
I'm afraid that his exuberant youth has taken its toll. He's been acting strangely of late. I fear he has delusions of persecution.
I don't really know what you mean, at all.
Recently, for example, he told me that someone was following him. And the very next day he bought a padlock from the blacksmith and locked up his chest. As though I would ever sneak into it. In any case, why the interest? Are you looking for him?
Something like that.
May I ask why?
I have a message for him.
A message? Who would be interested in that wastrel? Other than his furious and deeply disappointed master, of course. About your question, you'll find him at home. No doubt feverishly dying. He sleeps in the baker's cellar.
Ya, pues venga, joder. Joder.
Does
¿Hay un
Florian
enemigo?
have any enemies?
A man such as he certainly owes money at every turn, and the parents of local girls are undoubtedly displeased with his attempts to propagate. However, most recently it was that fury from the baths who accosted him in quite a spectacular rage.
Habrá manera de los baños.
A woman from the baths? What did she do?
The harpy nearly tore all Florian's hair out. I don't frequently feel sorry for my ne'er-do-well apprentice, but on that occasion I made an exception.
Do you have any idea why she did it?
She was screaming about some girl, some flighty bath-maid, Esther. I would say that Florian had felt the joys of spring and acted accordingly, although one would have thought they'd be used to that sort of thing at the bathhouse.
Vale,
Thank you. I'll leave you to your work.
Good luck to you.
vale. Vale. A saber. A ver, ¿qué misiones son? Vale, esta es... Ahora con la madre del baño. Y aquí... Ahora con Florian. Vale. Con Florian es el último. Vale. Toma ya. Atravesado. Venga, vamos. Dejamos de tontería y vamos. Madre mía, metiendo de los río. Sí, es que soy gilipollas, lo sé. Lo siento, es que se me descontrola cuando corro. El baño está aquí, vale. Aquí están los baños. Hola. Propietaria de casa, vale, era la dueña.
What do you want?
I
Florian.
hear you're at odds with apprentice Florian.
At odds? I'll give you at odds. It's that sod's fault they took my Esther. Poor girl. I shudder to think what's become of her.
What exactly happened?
This man came in wanting a bath, and Esther with it. She doesn't normally offer that kind of service, but I didn't see the harm, so I sent her into him. And suddenly I hear screams. So I run out, and I see the bastard pulling her out of the tent and shoving her into a boat.
I assume that Florian knows this, Esther.
You know village girls. They don't get much of a choice. Every other knave has a turnip for a brain, and if they don't, they're relatives.
Parejas.
And then some young dandy turns up who writes her little poems. What's the poor girl to do? And this is how it ends. She should have stuck with the turnip heads.
En ambos. Pero de mano. Esther.
It sounds like you were close to Esther.
I loved her like my very own. She came to me as an orphan, like a wolf child she was. I raised her and taught her and gave her a job.
O sea,
Now she's gone. Who knows if she's even alive?
¿Qué dice mi hilo?
What did the bailiff make of it?
Don't even get me started on that. He's another fine... I won't say what. I told him everything, but he says he won't do nothing about it.
How's that then?
He wouldn't tell me to my face, of course. But people here don't think much of us. There's some as reckon my Esther deserves what she got. Poor girl.
Vale,
Take care.
eso es todo. Bueno, vamos a ver a Florian. Bueno. Vale, ojo, cuidado con Florian, tiene muy mala leche, No sé qué va... No quiero mirarle la cara, ¿qué vas a pensar? Ni en peinado lo que ha hecho. Este. Vale, a ver, ¿dónde estás? En la panadería me has dicho, ¿verdad? Sí. ¿Aquí? Me ha dicho la verdad. ¿Eres tú? Sí, Florian. Anda, pues está bien.
Jesus Christ be praised.
Sí, está bien.
You
Me
look
pareces
quite
enfermo.
sprightly for an invalid.
Ya te digo.
Who the hell are you?
My name's Henry, and I'm making inquiries for Sir Radzik Cobbler.
And what do you want from me?
Straight to the point then? All right. I've been investigating counterfeit money and the trail led me straight to you. Does the name Rappator mean anything to you?
I don't know. Maybe?
Don't bother. I know you know him. You make the punch dice for the counterfeiters. How do you hand them over? Do you know where their workshop is?
I can't say anything. I'll deny everything and you've got nothing on me. No evidence, just accusations.
Bienvenidos sabe cantar. ¿Es por esa moza?
It's got something to do with that girl, hasn't
Vale.
it?
How do you know?
That doesn't matter.
No, I suppose not. I didn't want to get involved, I swear. Those bastards kidnapped Esther. If I don't cooperate, they'll kill her.
I'm sorry about that.
Me too. Listen, I'll tell you everything, I promise. But only if I know that Esther's safe.
What, so I'm to go searching for her in the woods?
I know where they're keeping her, but nobody will help me. And what can puny little me do faced with those strapping great villains?
You're trying to haggle with me? Have you forgotten who I am?
I won't let you push me around.
You mean the way you aren't being pushed around by the kidnappers? You'd be more convincing if you weren't shaking in your shoes.
Jesus Christ, will this never end?
Now talk.
They found me in the tavern one evening. Caught me when I went to the ship party. They started to badger me about working for them.
They?
Yes, Rappator. And a knight they called Sir Yezhek.
And then what?
They explained what they wanted from me and I told them to sod off.
I'm guessing that didn't go down too well.
It wasn't all that bad. They just threw me on the dung heap and left. I thought it was just a drunkard's joke. But then they took Esther.
Where will I find Rappator?
He's usually wherever I am.
What does that mean?
He watches me. Everywhere I go. And when I'm at home, he sits on the bench in the square, watching my house.
So he's there now?
Hard to say. Sometimes I see him in the tavern on the green, buying supplies.
All right. At least I know where to start. And you go to work tomorrow, you hear?
Why?
Because we have to lure him out. And besides, your master will surely be glad to see you.
I have my doubts.
Entrega el token.
How did you hand over the punch die to them?
Rappator waited for me behind the church. I didn't want to give it to them without seeing Esther first.
And did they let you?
Yes, although I don't really know why. They took me to a derelict farm in the Scalix Hills. My poor Esther, they'd scared her half to death.
So at least you know she's alive.
Who knows? It was a while ago. And they never let her go, even after I did what they wanted. They said they'd be needing more.
More punch dice?
They wear out over time. And they have to be replaced regularly.
Why didn't you tell anyone?
At first I took it for a bad joke. And then, when they snatched Esther, there was nothing to be done.
I suppose I'd better go. I'd hate the bastard to get away.
Go. I hope you get revenge. See you later.
Pues... Es de la taberna, ¿no? ¿Es agradable?
I know you. I know you from somewhere.
No, no te conozco.
Where do I know you from?
What?
Of course, my dream. You were in a boat made of bone. And I put a crown
No, ¿qué va? No. También tú, ¿qué me da? ¿En qué mía? Háblame de esto.
Tell me about this dream of yours.
That dream? Yes, that dream has come true. I dreamt that a young man would become my apprentice. My own pupil in the trade of miracles.
And that's supposed to be me.
Who else? What's your name, young man?
Oh. Henry.
Henry. A powerful name. So, Henry, are you ready to become my apprentice?
¿Y qué hace?
What exactly does it entail, becoming your apprentice?
A lot of work and strenuous labor. Knowledge of medicine, theology, and white magic. You have to study the great works of the ancients.
Ah,
and
sí,
devote
eso es
your
interesante.
time to understanding your fellow men, listening to them, and learn to read.
O sea, es médico. Parece muy exigente.
That's a pretty challenging task.
That's why God has sent you. So what do you say?
Vale.
All right, I'll be your apprentice.
Wonderful! Oh, glorious day! I have a successor in my work.
So, how do you plan to start training me?
With a test of your practical skills.
Oh.
I have my eye on 3 rare objects of great value. But sadly, they're a little difficult to obtain.
Continúa.
Go on.
First, I need a tooth of Saint
Un diente de salvoscopio.
Then I'll need a branch from a topping out hung on a church. And
Ah,
finally,
de robar.
a talisman
Vale.
for luck.
Estas misiones secundarias.
Bloody hell, that's a lot. All right, one thing at a time.
¿Qué es una coronación?
Topping out. What's that?
Una corona, ¿no?
You're not a carpenter, it seems.
No, I'm a blacksmith.
Herrero.
I see. Well, a topping out is a decorated spruce or a conifer tree hung on top of the roof of a new house to bring good fortune and God's blessing.
That topping off is hung pretty high, isn't it?
Naturally. It hangs on the rooftop according to tradition. And the church is tall.
And how am I supposed to get it down?
Damned if I know. But they had to get it up there somehow, didn't they?
Bueno, sí. Entonces
Very
no hay
well, I'll get it. I'll get looking for those things then.
Excellent! You do that, my journeyman. Good luck.
Vale. Partida guardada, perfecto. Ya queda... Bueno, poco. Claro, poco bastante. Vale, ¿cómo? A ver, me he mirado todo de... Los temas que buscar y que está avisando. Ahora, moza, ciudadana, artesano, ciudadano... ¿Qué pasa si vuelvo a hablar con él? Ah, no está, mierda. ¿Qué tienes ahí? Vendaje, esto me iría bien. Vale, un momentito, a ver, yo me he puesto una aleta. Esto. Y sin derrama de una coloración. Vale, son misiones secundarias. No sé dónde está ahora, no sé si habrá vuelto al sitio ese, no sé. Bueno, es de la tienda. ¿Qué hora es? Ah, vale, se hace de noche, vale. Al atardecer. Caballo. Ah, ahí estás. Vamos a volver al monasterio. No sé si habrá vuelto. Tío, bueno, se me olvida el nombre. Es que cada vez que nos conocemos ya se me olvida cómo se llama. Madre mía, cada vez que veo un camino ya ni sé dónde está. En serio, es que estoy perdido. Parece un laberinto. Vale, ahí está en puente. Un momentito, ahora lo pone algo aquí en diario. Que sí, no. Esto no se quita, desactivarlo. Encontrar a Rapota. Suele sentarse y ofrecer el fuego al observar la casa de Floya. En casa de Florian. Vale.
Are you blind?
Perdón, perdón. Que fue sin querer. O sea, alrededor de la casa. A ver, su casa es ahí, ¿no? O sea, alrededor está. No sé, vamos a verlo. Es que es la única pista que tengo. Tiene lana. Guardia, mercader, no me digas ahora. Un caballo. A ver, ¿de quién es este caballo? No, no quiero líos ahora. Vale, si hay un caballo, no sé si es el... Es hija, sacerdote. Tú, hola, charlatán, no sabemos quién es. Tú, quién eres. Posadero. Pues a ver, posadero, así se conoce un poco al respecto. No. No, dice. Muy difícil. Ahí dice que es muy difícil envergar tesoros. Vale, o sea, vigila dónde está alrededor de casa. O sea, me imagino que este es su casa, ¿no? ¿Se habla con la moza? Espera, espera, espera. ¿Te abuelo mal? ¿En serio? Joder. Si se me acaba de luchar. Sí, este juego se puede luchar. Tienes que ir a la moza de baño y te deja bañar. Vale, alrededor de la casa. Buah, chaval. ¿Y cómo coño voy a encontrarlo? ¿Hola? Bueno, vale la pena usar esas ganzas para ganar nivel. Nada. Esto solo aumentamos el peso. A ver. ¿Qué tenemos? Un montón de nada. A ver. Estaba en su bodega. Vale, ¿quieres que trabaje para panadero? No estoy muy seguro, pero vamos a ver. Un cerdo. ¿Y tú? El guardia de la tienda, vale. Mercado, no. Si hablo, ¿qué pasa si hablo con ella? Bueno, ¿qué pasa con mi atuendo? En serio. ¿Es porque llama mucha atención? ¿Qué pasa? No lo entiendo. Venga, adiós. Vale, pues... Chavana... Guardia... No. Menino. Menino.
God be with you.
Nada. Ratoja, no tengo ni puta idea dónde está. No sé si es el caballo de Ratoja. No estoy seguro. Pero dice que vigila. Quien vigila en casa. Tú eres un ciudadano, tú eres ciudadana. A ver, es hombre, no puede ser que sea mujer. Lo que pasa es difícil saber. Marlocota. Marlocota. Fíjate quién es. No puedo hablar con él. ¿Qué haces con mi caballo? ¿Qué haces? ¿Qué haces? ¿Tú de qué vas? ¿Tú de qué vas? ¿Y tú? Ciudadano, juez. Ah, muy fácil, what? Curioso. Fácil. Antes ponía difícil. ¿Soy yo? A mí me parece que he vuelto al mismo sitio. Y ponía muy difícil. Ahora pone muy fácil. Curioso. Pues... Igual no me han comentado mucho. A ver, ¿y dónde coño está ese? ¿A la vuelta a casa? No sé. Oh, espérate, a lo mejor a la vuelta al monasterio. Había con el monje, no sé. Voy a ver, perdón. Es que pasáis en todo el medio y claro, esto es lo que pasa. A ver, que me he vuelto otra vez en el mismo camino. Madre mía. Es que parece un camino, de verdad. A ver. No sé si habrá vuelto. Voy a encender la antorcha para no infringir la ley. Vale, perfecto, equitación. Vale, nivel 10, perfecto. A ver, asustaros, os asusta un poco menos. Montaros. No se asusta por tener enemigos cerca, y siempre y cuando no impacten. Eso está muy bien. ¿Qué más? Voy a ver. Vale, es de locación. Nunca se montar por el caballo en combate. ¿Puede carga? Eso no puedo combinar. Es una putada, no puedes combinar esto, Ahora, yo he puesto en más velocidad. Tenía que haber puesto en más carga y en menos velocidad. Pero bueno, da igual, no pasa nada. Tampoco no me quejo. No sé si están durmiendo ya o no sé, voy a verle. Es que necesito más información. ¿Es tú? Hermano portero, no. ¿Es tú? No, asistente, yo no. Tampoco es. No. ¿Dónde estás? ¿Qué vas a hacer con él? No. Ah, no, ese tío que no me deja pasar. Bueno, tú. Uf, vale. No, es verdad, ese otro sitio, espérate. ¿No le era? Me parece que es por ahí. Ya, creo que es por ahí. El reloj, vale. ¿Qué es que es aquí? Sí, tiene pinta que está aquí. No sé si es aquí, la casa que tenemos que echar un vistazo. Muy difícil, no puedo pasar, vale. No pasa nada. ¿Aquí? Aquí sí. ¿Puedo entrar? Sí. Vale, sí, ese sitio, vale. No sé si está aquí o... sí, vayan. Háblame. La maza se
That girl you talked about.
Esther. Yes.
Look, Florian, I'm sorry for what you're going through, honestly. But I'm not the only one who's after these people. As soon as they get wind of something, they'll be out of here and Esther will be gone with them.
If Rapita finds I've told you anything, they'll kill her.
Not if I catch Rapita first. He's here in town, isn't he?
Yes, he is. They found me in the tavern one evening. Caught me when I went to the ship pub. They started to badger me about working for them.
They?
Yes, Rapita.
Vale, es la misma frase.
They explained what they
Vas a
wanted
admitir,
to
lo
do.
siento, pero vas a...
It wasn't all that bad. They just threw me on the donkey.
Sí, lo mismo, vale.
Where will I find Rapita?
He's usually wherever I am.
What does that mean?
He watches me. Everywhere I go.
So he's there now?
Hard to say. So
Alright. At least I know where to start.
why?
Because we have to...
I have my doubt.
Para mañana, vale.
I suppose I better...
Go. God be with you.
Vale, por lo menos he ganado la conversación de éxito. Bueno, pues nada, pues vamos a... Espera. Voy a aprovechar a leer. ¿Vale? A ver los habilidades. Algo de las habilidades. ¿Cuál? Este, ¿no? Así gano lectura. Vale. Esa sí tenemos que hacer. Vale, es que era una misión secundaria. Pero lo recomiendo para todo lo demás. Porque la lectura no solamente te entenderá, sino también aumente diálogo contra los guardias para persuadir esas cosas. Ganar opciones y éxito de las conversaciones. Vale, perfecto. A ver. Hábito de beber. Te veo las manos. Vale, borracho. Vale. Vale. Voy a poner borracho, me llama mucho la atención. Pues se me pasa un poco. Una vez me pasé un poco. Bueno, era una misión tremenda. Vamos, vamos. Va, o sea, él está visitando, pero debe ser para mañana. A lo mejor es para mañana. Bueno, trabaja. Vale. Como ahora no está, pues, ¿no le puedo dormir? Me gustaría dormir. ¿Aquí no puedo dormir? No. No le puedo dormir. Me gustaría dormir, Sentarme. Fácil. No sé. ¿Además está trabajando? ¿Y aquí? ¿Y si me lo sitio? Sí, pero está al otro lado, sí. Muy difícil. ¿Qué más? Y nada más, ¿no? Nada más. Bueno, no sé dónde voy a dormir. Igual esperaré un poco. Vale, a las 9. Ahí es donde empiezo a trabajar, ¿no? Dice, se siente en la plaza observándole. Ya pocos minutos. No sé si voy a tener que terminar de... No estoy seguro, pero bueno. Pero seguir investigando, lo que sea. Cuando acabe la misión. Vale, no hay manera, vale. Vale, tengo un nombre, hostia. Vale. El vino es mejor. Regadeño. Bueno, por si acaso. Corchete. Vale, a ver. No sé si está ahí o ya ha vuelto de panadero. Ahí, desde aquí. Desde el principio. Vale, vale, sí, ha vuelto desde el principio. Vale, allí solo que observa la plaza. Más vale que esté ahí ya, Venga, vámonos. A ver, no le coño salgo. A ver, no le... Buah, chaval. Me pasa el camino. Va ahí. Buah, es que no se ve el puente, loco. Vale, me he chocado contra algo. Me ha dado en la cabeza. Eso sí cuenta, Vale. Las terceras cosas sí, pero... Si corro deprisa, me choco contra algo, vale. Vale, es bueno saberlo. Madre mía, caballo, en serio, tío. Qué mala dirección tienes, Es que jugar en primera persona cuesta, Es que yo jugar en primera persona no es lo que menos me gusta. Bueno, está muy chulo, pero yo prefiero en tercera persona. Está ya súper genial. Tiene una acción de eso. A ver, ¿dónde era? Que ya me he perdido un poco, Ahí está la taberna. Entonces está allá. Ahí. ¿No? What? ¿Qué ha pasado? ¿Qué ha pasado? ¿Me he equivocado o qué pasa aquí? Charlatán. No. Me he equivocado, me parece. No, 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 no. Espera, joder, ¿no está todavía? ¿En serio? ¿Todavía no está? Ah, no, no, no. Ah, me he equivocado. ¿Es aquí? ¿What? Digo, ya está. ¿Eres tú? No. Ay, Dios, se acaba el tiempo, chicos. Se acaba el tiempo. ¿Está abierto? Sí, pero yo... ¿Es un mercado? Sí, pero... ¿What? Espera, no lo entiendo. ¿Qué se conserva la plaza? Pues vaya misión complicada, Porque es que no me lo pone. Ahí está, música. Eso sí que me anima. Ay, a ver. A ver, esta es la casa, me imagino, ¿no? No, espera, decía dónde está. Bueno, si no sé dónde está, pues tendré que hacer trampas. Voy a ver un vídeo porque es que no tengo ni puta idea de dónde está, porque no me ha dado ni pistas ni nada. Es cerca de la plaza, pero ¿en qué plaza? No sé qué, y además qué casa es que aquí no está en casa. Un momentito. Toma ya, muchacho. Toma. A ver. Voy a escribir, a ver. Ah, hay que contar. Vale, pero ¿y dónde coño está, tío? ¿Para qué? No está aquí. Vale, no está aquí. ¿What? Joder, me vuelto a equivocar. ¿En serio, tío? Vale. Vale, aparecerá cuando... Vale, pues hay que ir a buscarle. Pues si no está aquí, pues nada, pues vamos a cerrar la puerta. Si no está aquí, pues nada, pues... Vamos a intentar buscarle. Vale, hay que buscarle porque... Está siguiendo. Pero es que no tengo ni puta idea de dónde está ahora. En serio, no tengo ni puta idea de dónde está ahora mismo. A ver, ¿dónde estás, tío? No sé, me imagino que está en el monasterio, no estoy muy seguro. Pero también me han dicho que acabo de ver que también puedes hablar con el herrero y te lo informa, ¿no? Como si te lo sobornas. A ver, ¿qué quieres saltar? Vamos a ver, ¿qué podemos tienes saltar con la valla que hay, macho? Es que es increíble. A ver, ¿dónde está el herrero? Ahí, vale. Es que aquí para mí dice, ¿sabe quién es, no? ¿Hola? ¿Tú eres? ¿Vestido de salzado? No puedo hablar con él. No, aquí no es. Al otro lado. Vale. Armero. ¿Ese es aquí?
Do you make anything out of copper, Master?
I do a bit of Damascene decor sometimes. Why do you ask?
I'm looking for someone who could do me some copper sheets.
Well, that's pretty rough and ready work. I wouldn't waste my time with it. But go and ask Zach from the craftsman's yard by the monastery. He's bought up all the copper to be had around here anyway.
What can you tell me about the blacksmiths here in Sasau?
Depends which ones you mean. In the town there's Mikesh. He's a decent man and an honest craftsman. And in the yard by the monastery there's Zach. But there's not many good words I can say about him.
Tell me something about Mikesh.
Like I said, he's an honest craftsman. Which isn't something...
Vale, eso lo has dicho, vale.
What about the
¿Y Zach?
blacksmith, Zach?
Well, him and me don't exactly see eye to eye. He wanted to buy my business, but I turned him down.
O sea, se llevaban de pena.
He hasn't had a good word to say about me.
Vale, ya está.
That'll be all. Thank you.
A ver, negocios, ¿qué tienes tú? ¿Algo interesante? Como el escudo. Vale, espera. ¿Hay algo libros por aquí o algo así? A ver, no. Solo esto, vale. Pues vende esto. Gracias. Y me voy. Bueno, espera, voy a copiar algo. Oh no, está bien. Uf, está bien, pero vamos, pero comemos un poco más. Bueno, se acabó el directo, pero es que no encuentro. A ver, es que... vale, mierda, tenía que haber seguido ahí. Venga, vamos. Vamos, no hay tiempo para perder. ¡Quita, coño! A ver. Igual puedes preguntaros al escudero, al espadero, digo. A ver. Es que hay unos cuantos, Vamos a ir por ahí. Este o hasta al norte, hasta el monasterio. Una de esas dos tiene que estar. Vale. Por el momento no lo veo.
The sun. God be with you.
Igualmente, ¿te vas a ir con
Do you
cobre?
ever work with copper here?
No, and even if I wanted to, I couldn't. Zach from the monastery craftsman's yard has
Vale.
bought out all the copper.
Vale, vea, vas a reparar algo. Vale. ¿Puedo entrar? Sí, puedo entrar. Artesano, no. Bueno, no está aquí. Pues entonces hasta el norte del monasterio. A ver, que está por ahí. A ver. Este es el último que me queda en la pista. Creo que hice algo que puede sobornarlo. Que no lo sé, no estoy muy seguro. Pero vamos a comprobar. Así es verdad. ¿Pero dónde está? ¿Está dentro ya o qué pasa? Pero ahora no sé dónde está ahora mismo, pero voy a preguntarle primero. Luego ya buscaré. ¿Qué me pasó? Vale, estaba ahí, vale. ¿Dónde? Vale, ahí. Joder, macho. Puto carro, joder. Vitus. Esa.
Good health to you. Do you work any copper here, Master Blacksmith?
Why'd you ask?
I'm looking into a few things here.
Oye, va, mierda.
Looking into things? Meaning what?
I'm on the trail of a gang of counterfeiters.
Well, that's a serious business, but to answer your question, no. I don't work copper here.
That's not what I heard.
What?
I was told in town that you bought all the other blacksmiths' copper.
By Mickelson and Master Armourer, am I right? They're forever trying to smear my good name. That's why they said it, to make me look suspicious.
But they don't know I'm investigating anything.
Then they're making things up just for spite. Anything else? I still have work to do.
Pues nada. Pues nada, no va a servir. Voy a ver la rotación. ¿Y Virtus?
Good health to you, sir.
Igualmente. ¿Cabe?
Your father says you don't work any copper.
We don't.
I've heard differently around town. They say your father's bought up all the copper to be had.
Are you calling me a liar? Or my father? You're asking for it, boy.
You're right. It's nothing to me either way.
Right. So clear off.
I mean, beside the fact I'm here on behalf of the Royal Burgrave Sir Radzig Cobbler, investigating a grievous crime against the Crown.
What? What are you talking about?
I'd let you read my Bill of Authority, but I doubt you're educated enough to understand it.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realise. If I'd known, of course I wouldn't. I mean, you understand, don't you?
Stop prattling, for God's sake, and start telling me the truth. What's the story with the copper at your forge?
You're right. We do make copper sheets here at night.
Who buys those sheets from you?
I don't know. I've never set eyes on him. Father doesn't like to talk about it.
So why all the
¿Por qué tanto
secrecy?
secreto?
Father forbade me to talk about it. I don't know why. I didn't ask.
Igual te estaba protegiendo. Pero tendrá
Your
problemas.
father has some serious explaining to do.
Pues sí.
I'm so sorry. If I'd known who you were, I'd never have taken such liberties.
Never mind.
Yeah.
You weren't to know who I am. You were just protecting your father's business interests like any good son.
Thank you.
Bien.
Goodbye.
Es normal, ya sé. Pues nada, pues me vas a contar tú.
So back to that copper.
What?
Ya
Your
escoges,
son
¿no?
put it quite differently.
What's that? What are you blabbering on about?
Don't be angry with him. I didn't give him any choice.
All right. I suppose there's no point lying. We do make copper sheets here, and I wanted to keep it quiet.
Why?
Pays me good money, and the people I do it for. I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of them.
Did they threaten you?
They didn't have to. Just by the look of them, I could say I needed to shut my mouth and do what they wanted.
And did they ever tell you who they were? Do you know where to find them?
I know a little. But show some understanding. There's nothing but trouble in it for me. I'll lose the work and be left looking over my shoulder for some thugs to come and burn down my house. Or worse.
If you lie down with dogs, you shouldn't complain about the fleas.
There's no need for threats. We can both benefit here. If I tell you everything I know, you can help me with a certain small matter. One that'll cover up for my loss of earnings.
So what are we talking about?
I recently tried to buy Master Armourer Otto Rabstein's business for my son Vitus, but that old fool wouldn't listen to reason. He said he couldn't understand his legacy being taken over by a clod like my Vitus. Despite the insult, I doubled my offer, but Master Otto still wouldn't budge.
And what is it you need from me?
I thought I'd show Otto that Vitus isn't such a dolt as he thinks. But for that I need someone experienced in combat.
Well, that doesn't sound so bad. What's your plan?
Otter's busy making a very pretty suit of armor for the bailiff. So I was thinking, if we could show that pretty armor of his is absolutely useless, he'd be disgraced.
And how am I supposed to see to that?
Well, I reckon we'd arrange a duel of champions with bludgeons. You'll put on Vitus's armor, and Otto will send his champion in that tin shit of his. You invite the bailiff to watch, and Otto will be made a laughingstock in front of everyone.
And what do I get out of it?
What we already agreed. I'll give up dealing in copper, and I'll tell you everything I know about what's been going
Vale.
on.
Un trato hecho. ¿Y si pierdo?
What if I lose?
Nonsense. How could you? Vitus's armor is light as an eggshell and hard as a rock.
How about if the armor for the bailiff mysteriously went missing?
Jesus Christ. Don't even talk about it.
Vale,
Although,
vale.
if Otto doesn't agree to the duel, it might be the only option.
Exactly. And if you want to wreck Otter's reputation, not keeping his promise to the bailiff could be even worse for him than your idea.
You're right. Do whatever you think fit then. But if the armor gets, lost, don't come to me afterwards. I know nothing about it, right?
Of course.
Desaire. ¿Esa es una misión principal? No sé si estamos avanzando o es una misión principal. Porque lo quiero dejar aquí. Vale. Punto guardar. Vale. Madre mía, es que me ha complicado un poco. Es que ni siquiera sé dónde está el muchacho. ¿Dónde se ha metido? Desafiar, maestra. Vale. Vale. Bueno, gente, ¿qué tal si lo dejamos aquí? Capítulo 16. No, 15, 16. No, ya me ha olvidado un poquito. Ya mira luego. Digo que es el 16, sí, sí, el 16. Y la gente, espero que os haya gustado. Y como siempre, hasta la próxima, chicos. Adiós.